The Delaware County Commission meeting for June 28, 2018 is now in session. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I always get paranoid when I forget to turn my phone off and hope it doesn't ring while I'm doing the pledge. So, again, good morning, everyone. To my right is fellow Commissioner, Vice President Commissioner Barbara Lewis. To my left is fellow Commissioner Jeff Benton. And Sarah DeNova, our clerk today, and Don, our Deputy Administrator. And what is today's date?
28th.
28th? Oh. Anything special about the 28th?
No, not at all.
Nothing?
Nothing.
No special people been born on that day that you can think of?
No idea.
So you're not special?
No. It probably depends on who you ask.
Well, I think it's my way of saying happy birthday.
Well, thank
Yes,
you.
happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Are you feeling embarrassed?
No.
Okay. With that, let's proceed.
Resolution number 18-723, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceedings from regular meeting held June 25th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-723. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
We have no public or elected comment this morning. Resolution number 18-724, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates and payments of warrants in batch numbers CNA PR 0627 and memo transfers in batch numbers MTA PR 0627.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-724. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-725, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-725. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-726, in the matter of amending resolution number 18-88 for the purchase of a truck used by the county drainage maintenance program.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, Scott Stevens, Administrator at the Soil and Water Conservation District. I think this is a companion resolution, one that the County Engineer's Office had for the purchase of vehicles. Apparently Vision Automotive is no longer in business, and the Sherry dealership is willing to pick up that purchase for us. So.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-726. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
You.
Resolution number 18-727, in the matter of approving a public notice and request for proposals for a cellular site plan for Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Bob Lamb, Economic Development Director. Commissioners, before you is a request to approve a RFP for cellular site plan development and administration. This RFP will allow the county to receive proposals from organizations regarding how the county can best facilitate private sector development of a holistic cellular infrastructure plan. The county has developed sanitary sewer, transportation, zoning, and economic development plans over the past few years. This RFP will be the first step in developing a plan that would allow us to better address changing demands and technology alterations in the coming years. The RFP focuses on three main areas: facilitating the development of 5G infrastructure network, promoting the use of public land for 5G services, and instituting zoning and design standards to accommodate the 5G network needs. If approved today, the county will post on June 30th and close the RFP process on July 27th. Following review of those RFPs, we will be returning to the commissioners for further guidance on next steps. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
I do have a question on the 5G. There's been quite a bit in the news on 5G and capabilities of different companies, even including Chinese companies. And I know we have Steve Lewis here with us, but could you just explain, you or Steve, a little bit more about 5G and what it does?
Yeah, 5G will really be the first cellular network that is truly built on data stream instead of more of a voice. It's being built to really accommodate the flow of data from devices to centralized locations. The best example I could give you is 1 through 3G kind of development was more talking, so picking up the phone, calling someone, in a voice communication. This would be the exchange of videos over your wireless services or backed by a fiber network, and that kind of data. So much more is required to be able to accommodate a 5G network than a 3G network. And so this will institute the need to put in place a lot more infrastructure to accommodate the flow of that information, small cell site locations that can carry that data and be able to transmit it throughout the area quickly and efficiently to the main tower, which would be backed by that fiber connection that would then carry it to the overall internet.
Where are other entities on this, for instance, state, national?
So the state is considering several different plans. The nation is also looking at different potential concepts. Really, right now, this is being done more at the local level on how to facilitate 5G networks. Locally, I know the city of Gahanna is working with a provider to look at how they can better position themselves to accommodate this service, as well as I know Summit County is looking at different opportunities for how they can make sure their residents are able to benefit from 5G networks. From where it's at from a rolling out standpoint, it really depends upon who you talk to. They have created several test cities within the U.S. There's been mixed results on those tests. They are in the funding stage currently for the first round of infrastructure placement for 5G network. Our hope is that this will allow us to be competitive for some of that first round of funding for the infrastructure that needs to be developed. However, it's most likely 2020 all the way out to 22, 23 before you would see a true 5G system up and operating.
Thank you.
It's my understanding, and if I'm wrong, correct me, either one of you, and I'm often wrong, people tell me that all the time. 5G, basically, I think I heard this from a Verizon, something I saw on TV or whatever, it's 10 times, I don't know if it had 10 times the storage, the data capacity, or the speed, but the term I've heard floated around, it's 10 times faster than where we are today. Is that?
Oh, I don't know if I could say they'd be 10 times faster, what exactly that looks like depending upon it, but it would be able to accommodate a significant amount more data, which would therefore increase the speed. Oftentimes, if you're in, say, a public arena and you're having trouble being able to pull up a website, that's due to the amount of people in that area trying to use the available bandwidth. These types of infrastructures investment will enhance that bandwidth, allowing that group of people to hopefully be able to pull the data that they want as quickly. Now, the counter to that is the needs of data are going to increase as well, and so it's going to be a balancing act.
3 points that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be improved internet service theoretically throughout our county.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
This will provide opportunities for improved internet service throughout our county.
The hope is that it would put in place a plan where we could better facilitate the location of these investments to improve service.
And 2, how we coordinate and work with this, with whoever, these Verizons, AT&T, et cetera, to make sure that we're properly compensated for the role we'll play as far as the physical locations. I think it's also part of this study, correct?
Correct.
And that's an important part because we don't know enough to really know what's fair and appropriate. So having a third party help us with that will be helpful. So those are my observations.
A couple other questions. What are other counties doing? Have other counties implemented plans, done studies?
I don't know of any that have fully implemented a plan at this point. I know Summit County has looked at different options. I know Cuyahoga County has also looked at different options. Down in the Cincinnati area, several different communities have taken steps forward in this process. Locally, I know that Gahanna and I believe Upper Arlington are both looking at different options, but I don't know of one who is fully instituted an across-the-board system at this time.
What kind of timeline do you expect after July 27th when you get your bids on this?
We're looking at the notice of award in August. I believe it's August 23rd. From a timeline of the review period, I think I don't want to specify a certain time yet. I think we're going to need to see what the companies come back with and what they tell us is a due diligence needed to really be able to evaluate how to properly lay it out. I would be hoping that at least in the next 3 months from that date, we would back in front of the commissioners to provide an update if you did decide to go forward with the study.
I think this is really important for our county, and I think it's a great idea to move forward with this. But I think it's also important that we work with the other, the townships, the villages, the various cities that are in our county, so that we have one coordinated approach. And I assume you're thinking about working closely with them to make sure that we do have a countywide program that doesn't, that provides standard options that the various jurisdictions can sign on to.
Yes, I view this as the same type of infrastructure as roads or sewers. It doesn't end at a jurisdictional boundaries. The residents want to make sure that it's being handled in a manner that will provide the best service possible and make the most financial sense for the community.
To that point, are we reaching out to the townships and the cities just so that they're aware and it's communicated and not caught by surprise? Are we making any effort to do that?
I've talked with several different communities regarding this, mostly those who are more development-oriented at this time, to let them know that this is going to be a critical issue for businesses, that we will be engaging them throughout the process. There hasn't been one set engagement across the entire county yet. I do feel that that would come as part of this study, but at this time, it's only been designated communities that are seeing a lot of investment, private investment at this time.
At some point, some ways, we'll let it be known throughout the county, at least what we're doing, so that
Yes, absolutely.
make their own judgment. Okay. Any more comments or questions?
Thank you.
Vote on motion 18-727. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-728, in the matter of approving a transfer of appropriation for economic development.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Bob Lamb, Economic Development Director. Before you is a request to shift funds from the salary and benefits section within the department budget to professional services. This is not a request to increase funding for the budget this year, just to transfer funds internally. These funds are being transferred to accommodate the Montrose Cruise contract that will be presented to you on Monday for professional services to help with finance authority and economic development matters.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-728. Mr. Merrill? Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 18-729, in the matter of approving a contract between the Delaware County Commissioners, the Delaware County Department of Job and Family Services, and Marion Technical College for the purchase of comprehensive case management employment program youth services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made
Morning,
and seconded.
Commissioners.
Discussion.
Stephen Sikora with Job and Family Services. So as she pointed out, this contract would be with Marion Technical College for comprehensive case management employment services for youth, and it also coincides with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act for youth services as well. As Delaware County is required to offer this program to any youth that may be eligible for this program, it is designed to help at-risk youths and young adults to obtain their GED or high school diplomas and increase their work readiness and possibly get them to alternative educations. We had a previous provider, and we put this out for a request for proposal, and was released in March of 2018. Qualified bidders did solicit their proposals, and we did a 3-county proposal with Delaware, Morrow, and Marion, but we had four proposals in just Delaware County alone. So we reviewed that as a team, and Marion Technical College was the highest scored for that proposal review team, and we believe that they would give us the best shot at completing this program or running this program with the kiddos. It's not any different than the program that we've ran in the past. It'll just be a new provider.
What kind of dollar
Well,
difference is
this
there?
contract itself is worth $140,000 for the year, and that's the exact same amount that it was last year. And we would actually, so it's no increase in funding. This is state and federal funds that do help provide this program. And we actually, I think when I presented it last year for our amendment with our former provider, we looked and it's significantly lower than the cost of a school would be per student. So we're really running a great program at a great price, and it really is not extra money out of the county's pocket. So it's, like I said, it's state and federally funded. So
Stephen, do you know roughly how many people in the past have been able to take advantage of the program?
Yeah, so yearly, it's roughly 30 each year. So, I mean, and we've run this for, the current provider was our provider for almost 15 years. So it was a long program, a long relationship with them. And again, so Marion Tech did score the highest out of all those proposals. But we've had a great relationship with our former provider, and roughly 30 kids in and out, each young adults and kids in and out of that program. So it's a growing program. It's a really good program. They're really getting into internships and apprenticeships are big things going in forward, because we know college isn't for everybody. So these kids are getting real world training and placements into job placements.
And this is so important for their future.
Sure, absolutely, and important for
Opportunity.
Delaware County's future, for these young adults to come out and have a place in society and to help us too. So,
Thank you.
thank you, Commissioners.
Comments, vote?
Vote on motion 18-729. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Resolution number 18-730, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for adult court services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joe Perry, Chief Probation Officer, Adult Court Services. This is a supplemental appropriation that was due to an employee switching insurance from single to family coverage after he was married last year, and we had checked prior to completing our budget, or at least towards the end of the year, to see if he was going to change that, and he indicated that he was not, but evidently he had a change of heart and did go with the county's family plan. So that's what increased the amount for that reason, which made us a shortfall on our salaries.
Questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 18-730. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 18-731, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for Marisol Section 2 sanitary sewer improvements and the Heathers at Gulf Village, Section 3, Phase A.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag with the Regional Sewer District. These are both standard sanitary sewer subdividers agreements. Marisol is for 53 homes off of Lewis Center Road, just east of Alum Creek. And the Heathers is for 20 homes that are located off of Sawmill between Hyatt's and Home Roads.
Any questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 18-731. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-732, in the matter of accepting sanitary sewer improvements for Nelson Farms, Section 2, Phase C, Part 1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
These sewers have been installed and have met all of our requirements. Nelson Farms is located off of Olentangy River Road, and it is tributary to our new Liberty Sawmill sewer.
Any questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 18-732. Mr. Merrill? Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Resolution number 18-733, in the matter of adopting a resolution declaring a necessity in the intent of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners to appropriate property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion. With us today, so I believe we're prepared to vote on. Is there any questions or comments? Vote?
Vote on motion 18-733. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-734, in the matter of approving an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Automatic Data Processing Board for the Information Technology Services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Morning, Commissioner. Steve Lewis with the Data Center. What you have before you is a intergovernmental cooperation agreement with, between your board and the Board of Developmental Disabilities to provide IT services for that board. We've worked with Eric Hostetler and also DD's counsel to put this agreement together. Both Auditor Keitze and I believe that it's an agreement that fully encompasses all charges that we would incur at the county. So we would recommend your approval.
A comment I'll make, it has to do with the comment I made on Monday, that it's important, I think, that, I'm supportive of this, but that Cy Keeley, as his role as financial, can look at these and bless them. So I just ask that you consider that going forward to get his blessing on them. And you made a statement that it covered all the stuff, so I appreciate that. But
Yeah, and I got a heads up on the discussion on Monday, so I did follow up with Cy and make sure that he was comfortable with everything as well.
I talked to him about it, too.
Good.
He
Thank
met with me.
I think this is, again, a nice effort on both sides to make DD more cost-efficient, save them money, so everybody wins. So again, and I know you've been doing this with other organizations, and that seems to be going very well, so success breeds more work.
Yeah, it definitely does, and, just hats off to the staff that make this happen. I know Shane Herbert, Curry Hoffman worked through the night last night. There's a lot of back-end stuff that people don't see that we have to do to prepare for this, and I think executing this today, we'll be hitting the ground running. There's a lot of things that are already done that we had to do to be able to take it over at the time that we have to, or that they required us to. So there's definitely a lot of work that goes into it, but, without the support of your board for the products and the infrastructure that we have, it wouldn't be possible, because we have a lot of good stuff in our data center. It's secure, and, not only are they saving dollars, but they're getting a better environment as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I want to thank your staff for the hard work. I know there was a tight deadline to get it done, so appreciate that.
I'll do that.
I want to make a general comment. Shared service is a term we toss around, but I think all three commissioners are very supportive of the concept. Where we are in a better position to provide the service than the township may be for a lot of reasons. They don't have the size of the organization or whatever. I think it's an important role that we play that makes the county more efficient, ultimately saves dollars for the taxpayers within that township, within wherever that entity might be. So I commend the efforts by not only here, the facilities area, and other areas that I think as time passes, we may find where we can be a difference maker. So.
Thank you.
Vote?
Vote on motion 18-734. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill? Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 18-735. In the matter of bringing back to the table proposed resolution number 18-713.
So moved.
All of it?
You-
Do
don't
I have to read the whole thing?
Okay.
Okay. There's a motion?
Okay.
I'll make the motion since I asked it be tabled. Is there a second?
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion regarding the table, bringing it back to the floor. If not, vote.
Vote on motion 18-735. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-713, in the matter of approving the First Amendment to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Agreement between the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners for Facilities Management and Facilities Maintenance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. Follow-up from Monday's conversation. Did review all our labor rates with Cy. He's very comfortable. Very comfortable. We are encompassing all our costs and compensation for the maintenance personnel. As noted, this is amendment to the agreement. We're going into our third year working with DD, providing them the facilities maintenance service at a considerable savings, at a considerably better facility terms. The modification to this noted in Section 4 is compensation. We simply took out, there was a labor rate range, which as salaries increase and the cost of benefits increase, we would push through that. So we just took the range out and just stating we'll charge back the labor rate to encompass all the costs for the maintenance salaries and benefits. And the term has changed to a 3-year term instead of a 1-year annual term.
Any questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-713. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
With that, that brings us to our report from our birthday person, Don Houston.
And I have nothing to report. Thank you, though.
Got a big birthday party planned?
Family, yes, tonight coming over.
Oh, gee, coming over to your house. Okay.
With that,
Okay.
Commissioner Lewis?
I have an emergency management meeting this afternoon on mitigation, meaning, just looking ahead, and this is something that we do every year, looking at our extensive protocol should anything bad happen in the county. And so also after that, I have a reentry meeting across the street, reentry from as people leave our jail, reintegrating them into society. So this is part of the Stepping Up program where we're trying to ensure that there aren't any gaps between someone leaving the jail and actually becoming a contributing member of society. So it's a good program. But that's it.
Very good. And Commissioner?
Just a couple things. The investment committee meeting we had this morning,
Yes,
Commissioner
sir.
Lewis and Treasurer John Peterson. Things continue to be well managed, and the investment portfolio continues to perform well, and actually quite a bit above budget since rates have risen this year. So it's good to see, and rates are expected to continue to rise, and our cash flow modeling is in good shape. So I think the investment portfolio is being well managed. Then we've got the Planet Oasis lunch press conference at 11 o'clock this afternoon, or this morning. And that's it.
The comment about the investment, I'm not part of that committee, but interest rates are, all costs are also going up in other areas, as reflected by a conversation I had with John regarding another topic. I don't go into detail on it right now, but so there is a push and pull on that. So, we'll probably continue to see costs in other areas as well because of that. I have 3 or 4 things. Commissioner Benton mentioned Planet Oasis. They are announcing their plans for development out at 363771, just east of the Outlet Mall. That's to occur today at 11 o'clock. I think all 3 commissioners are going to be there for that. And unfortunately, I have a meeting of Morpsey in Lancaster that I will obviously be late for, but I'll get down there as quickly as I can after we conclude this meeting. And it's always exciting to see investment in our county, and this is just an announcement today, but it's the first step in what may be more to follow. And I think we're all hopeful and optimistic, and we'll see where it takes us. And again, I'll be heading to Lancaster, kind of reviewing Fairfield County and Lancaster as Morpsey gets around the area with various meetings like this. They were in Delaware last year, as you remember. I have asked Sarah DeNova, and I think you each got an email on it, to identify a date where we can talk about this alley over here, so we all have the same information to make discussions and judgments about. And I don't believe the date's been identified yet. I just asked it to be after the 4th, after Eric returns from time away. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I probably shouldn't have said that. I apologize. But, and the purpose of that will be to get anyone who has a comment, pro or con, opportunity to come and share it with us so we can make a better evaluation. And the other part of that equation, which I've asked Don to look into, has to do with the street address. We show Sandusky as the street address. You park on the Union side, which has to be confusing, especially someone who's coming here for the first time, a jurist perhaps. It would seem to make more sense to give them an address that reflects where they're going to park. So Don is looking at that. It's our understanding that is a city coordinated effort. We have no reason to believe the city's not supported based on a conversation I had with Mr. Holman earlier. But that also will be covered in that conversation, and hopefully you'll be able to give us what the time frame is,
Yes.
process when we get back together.
Well, in the alley that you mentioned is the space between the Hayes Building and the new courthouse.
Yeah, I'm glad you
That's
mentioned that,
the
because there
one
has
that-
been some confusion. I
There-
was
yeah,
talking to
there's some
someone,
other
they thought we were
alleys
talking about the
around
alley.
here. Yeah.
It's the space between the 2 buildings.
Yeah.
There is some concern about safety, and
because people go back and forth so
and,
much between the two.
there are people who are much closer to it, have a better observation of that than we do over here. And those people hopefully will be here to express their perspective, good, bad, or indifferent. And obviously, we want the welfare of everybody involved to be protected, and hopefully we'll have an ideal after that we can support whatever is appropriate to take us forward. But we'll know much more after we have that. And Sarah will coordinate with us and coordinate with anyone else who wants to be involved. Okay? And the only other thing I have is I sent 3 emails last night regarding House Bill 371 to our representatives. I do not know your perspective, but I know mine. Mine is I'm not in support of that bill.
No, I
and,
would definitely be opposed to it.
I sent that on to Mr. Carfagna, Mr. Brenner, and Mr. Jordan, although it's a House bill right now. But all 3, I did it late last night, so not heard back from any of them, but if you feel strongly about it, I would encourage you perhaps to do the same.
I've talked with Rick Carfagna. He's very opposed to it, too, as we would be hurt in Delaware County because of this. So it basically, do you want to mention a little bit about what the bill?
Well, I'll go into a
Yes,
little detail, or you want to do it?
Yeah, sure. House Bill 371 would freeze property tax payments for new residential developments until housing construction begins or the subdivided land is sold. And it's my understanding that it may have been scheduled for a vote this week, but I don't know.
I heard it got delayed.
Oh, it got delayed,
Now,
okay.
I think we got a response,
Okay.
I think it was Morps or somebody said it was delayed. Now, maybe they're voting today, that I don't know, but I think it was supposed to have occurred yesterday, but I don't
Right.
believe it did.
Right, yes.
And I'm not sure,
Yeah,
was it short-term delay or
right,
what?
right, yes.
But basically, it's deferring property and tax increases from improvements until, it could be up to 8 years, and that does not serve
That's right.
the
yes,
counties
Yeah,
or entities. Somebody's got to pay for those infrastructure, and it was seen to be appropriate that we all support and pay as we go, so.
yeah.
and-
There's a huge coalition against this bill, and so hopefully the legislature's listening.
CCO, Morpsey, and a dozen other.
Municipal League, Township Association, big organizations with big constituencies oppose it, so hopefully the legislature's listening.
We hope.
Yes.
And with that,
Sure.
do we have need for executive session?
We do. Resolution number 18-736, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment or compensation of a public employee or public official.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 18-736. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Aye, in the appropriate place. With that, we're now in executive session.
Resolution number 18-737, in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 18-737. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
If there's no other business to bring before us, we are adjourned. You love doing that.